Hey, what's up, Jyles Cards here. Today we're going to be going over Card Ladder Pro. If you don't know what Card Ladder is, essentially it helps you price your cards, comp your cards, evaluate your cards, whether it's Pokemon, sports, any TCG, stuff like that. I use it every single day when I'm buying, selling, and trading sports cards. It's very useful. The mobile app is also very good. Today we're going to be going over the web version, but the mobile app is practically the same exact thing. Super user friendly. Let's start off by showing you the collection portion, which I personally don't use too much. I added some of my PC cards in here just so I can show you. For reference, let's just add a random card. It's super easy. You come over here, hit add. If it's PSA, BGS, SGC, or CGC graded card, you can just come right here, select whatever grading company. Let's add a PSA card for this example. I'm going to add this Wemby card. So you just type in the PSA cert, hit submit, and from here it will have all these different pop-ups that you can add. Let's say my purchase price on this Wemby was $500. I can add the purchase price in there. I can add and change the purchase date of this card. Say I have multiple copies of the card, I can change the quantity. A lot of different things you can do here, but let's, for this example, just say purchase price 500, purchase date was the first of this month, and then quantity is just one, and then you hit add. And then from here, if you refresh, well, I guess I have to go here and go to date added. Then you will see it pops up here. And you can see technically last sold was $473. So I'm out $27 on this if I were to sell for that. But then you can scroll down and see the history chart. You can change, let's say, a 3-month chart. All time, whatever. As you can see, all time back in May of 2025, this card was $81, and now last sold was $475. So super cool feature there. I personally don't utilize it too much. I need to utilize it more, but it's a great feature. And now let's move on to what I do use every single day, which is the sales portion. I just took a few pictures of some cards I have for sale. I'm just going to run over how I comp them. Slabs are super easy. We'll do a few. I showed that Wemby for an example for the collection part, so let's just move on to another Wemby, which I'll pop up which Wemby I'm doing here. But yeah, essentially you just type in the cert number. You over here search by sales cert, grader, and then you type in the cert, which this one is 93813. And you can either check show sales from this grade only or uncheck it. For this purpose, we're going to check it. And we can see, okay, July 12th, 2026, one sold for $525. July 5th, 2026, $660. And you can also see Fanatics Weekly. This was eBay. This sale was eBay. This sale was alt. So we have 525, 660, 475, 600. Kind of a good spread in here. I'd probably price this card around 550, roughly 550, 575 ish. But yeah, super cool. Also, there's this pop feature over here that I like to use a lot, especially if I am looking at grading cards, which I can show you some raw examples on that a little bit later. All right, also with this one, you can go over here and hit view sales of this card. And then we're already at the match grade, but you can go all matches or you can go all PSA sales. So say I want to see what the PSA 9s, PSA 8 sales are. I can click this, and then this will pull up PSA 9 sales and PSA, just all the other PSA sales, which there might not be any recent PSA 9 sales. Oh, dude, this is nuts. No way. Okay. Well, I thought there was no PSA 9 sales, but this will be a good example here. Total pop 557, total gems 541. Gem rate is 97%, which is unbelievable. And you can scroll down here and see a pop report based on the grading company. PSA is graded 510. There's 496 gems. That's 97% gem rate, which is unbelievable. And it's kind of funny because you can see values here. Sale value 525, which is last sale, as you can see here, and 9, the last sale's 521, which is crazy. Which that kind of brings me into I wonder what raw does on this card. So what I like to do is I'll come over here, grab the title, and the main thing when you're doing titles is you want to be as simple as possible. So right here, it has all these words on it. It has the card number. It has 23-24. You want to take all that out because if you don't, you're going to miss sales. So I personally sometimes leave the year, sometimes I don't. I never leave Panini. I like I said, I even take out Victor, just leaving the last name. Take out the card number. Take out sometimes even Court Kings and just leave Self-Expression. And as you can see, as we're taking stuff out, we're getting more and more results. So even if we take out Self, I bet you that add one more result. So from here, it just basically opens up all the sales, and it makes it where you can't miss sales. So the one that just popped up didn't have Self in the title. That's why it wasn't popping up. So you have to be very wide open when it comes to titles. That's my main rule when you're searching stuff on Card Ladder. And we can see Raw right here. Does 366. That was their 10 sale that we found. Another. See, this one doesn't even have. This is a PSA 10 that did 606. That wasn't even popping up because it doesn't have PSA 10 in the title. So that's just another reason to be very, very broad with your searches. This is Raw 278, PSA 10 450, PSA 10. This one's apparently numbered to 149. This is where we can use another one of our features, which it looks like it is numbered because the pop is 71. We can use this pop-out feature, which will take us directly to the sale, which you can see this was on eBay. But then we can hit See Original, and we can kind of look at the pictures more, and yep, we can see that it's numbered out of 149. So that's kind of cool. And then we can go back, and then say we are specifically want to look at this card sales. We can do match grade, which will pull up the PSA 10s of this, 575, 688, 450, 470, 500, and you can see different dates here: March, April, May, June, July. And then once again, you can do all PSA sales. That pulls up all PSA sales for this card, which I'm assuming its gem rate's super high, just like with the other one, which we can check here. 73 pop, 97% gem rate once again, and you can scroll down. PSA 71 gems and 2 PSA 9s, and the 9s somehow like outsold the 10s, but not really when you look at last sold 575 June 14th, which was during the playoffs, during the finals, 688. So it just depends when this 9 is sold. That's just going off Card Ladder value, which you can see this 9 PSA 9 sold August 23rd 2024, and it's just going off Card Ladder value, which is the index of what they think Wemby's market has gone up since the sale date, which is probably somewhat accurate in this case. I would probably put the 9 around, I don't know, $500, so they're probably 100 and some off, but it's up for speculation. All right, next we're going to move on to the shop feature, which I personally don't use, but essentially it's just like an eBay type page where you can search up cards, and cards that are available will be listed on this page. Like you can see, My Slabs is listing here. Also, there'll be like Fanatics. If you search up Topps Chrome LeBron PSA 10 rookie, Fanatics by it now is on here. I don't look at these pages very often, but you can look at them if you want. Just not really too much value there for me. All right, next up is the ladder. I personally don't mess with it too much. It's not too beneficial to me, so we're not going to be going over that. But let's move on. Profiles, once again, I don't really mess with it. Showcase, I don't really mess with this either. It's just basically where you can check out other people's collections and cards. Now indexes, it can be kind of cool to see sales index and what's going on. It's set to 1 month percent change right now, as you can see. If we switch it to year to date percent change, you can see Dragon Ball Z's apparently up 214%, Pokemon's up 100, Disney's up 94. You can see all these different indexes that are apparently up a ton, and you can kind of change it to your liking. I personally don't use it that much, but it is kind of cool to see. You can click in, let's say basketball. They think basketball's up 32% this year, I believe is what it said. And you can kind of see a cool all-time chart here, which you can see starting values at 1,000, and it is clear up to just over 21,000. Once again, I don't really look at this stuff. I more so use Card Ladder for the sales data. But yeah, it's cool info if you ever want to dive down into it. And the similar can be said with the players index. Let's just do Jordan, because why not? And you can see all-time Jordan market. They go by the same sort of index, starting value 1,000. That's at 44, almost 45,000. You can see rate of growth as well. And you can see sales volume, which is kind of cool. Obviously, these big spikes are when, I don't know, let's say big PSA 10 Fleer rookie sale, or I don't know, big autos or whatever it is. Those are the big spikes. But yeah, let's move on to Watchlist, which once again I don't use. However, some people utilize it. You can search for cards. Just use the Topps Chrome, LeBron, James, and you just add this to watch list, refresh, and it's added to your watch list. So if you have specific cards that you kind of just want to watch, 1 month change up almost 17%. You can see pop change, you can see value change, all that good stuff if you add cards to your watch list. I'm not a big investor or holder outside of my PC pieces, so the watch list isn't too important for me unless I'm looking at, let's say, I don't know, say a card that's super hype right now, and then I don't know, I just want to watch it to see where the market goes with it. If it grows or if it shrinks or whatever, this could be beneficial, but I personally don't use it. All right, next off is the compare. You can compare cards or indexes. I, once again, don't really do this too much, but since I am going over Card Ladder Pro, I will do this for you guys. We're going to use the same card, Topps Chrome, LeBron, James, PSA 10. So we're going to add this market, and you can see, you can kind of put it out to whatever you want, all time, clear to 2 weeks. We'll do a year for this sake, and then you can add cards to stack on this to see how different markets and different cards have changed value within the past year, month, or 2 years, or whatever you want to do. So let's do that. And let's add just another LeBron James card here, just to see it kind of stack up with the Topps Chrome rookie, which you can see here. Green is the Topps Chrome PSA 10. Blue is the Topps Draft PSA 10. See last sold here, start value, which is the start value of what we have set right here, which is clear back July 15th, 2025. You can see pop, which pops somewhat similar, 2,465, and then basically 2,800 down here. And you can see current value, 15.4, which is last sold on LeBron, and then 7,100 for the draft. You can see market caps, number of sales, which number of sales very similar here as well. You can see the change of value, which this is up 10,500. This one's up 5,100, and you can see percent change, 217 to 256, which that's kind of a cool chart, which you can go back and see, okay, February of this year, February 20th this year, PSA 10 Chrome sold for 87.50. February of this year, similar time frame, the draft sold for almost 3,000. You can see this chart kind of follows each other, just due to LeBron James, iconic cards, rookie cards. They're gonna always somewhat follow each other, whether it's trending up or trending down. And last but not least is this industry. I personally don't look at this either. However, you can see monthly volume, which is kind of cool. If we break it down to all time, you can see before COVID, before the COVID boom, you can see, okay, 20, 25 million a month. And then you can see after COVID, it kind of gives a little peak, and then it's way up here. It's getting 200, 250 million a month, which is crazy. And then you can see where we're at now, which is almost 700 million a month. So you can see the growth within the entire industry, which is nuts. And then you can see platform breakdowns. I personally don't use this, however, it's kind of cool to look at. Then you can see daily volume as well, which is cool. 50 million sold on June 28th, and then only 12 million sold July 14th. So you can see all these different stats within Card Lather, which is cool. Once again, I don't use it. I use essentially just the sales portion of Card Lather. The slabs are super, super easy to search up, and then the raw can be somewhat tricky depending on the cards. However, just have broad listings, and you will be able to find sales of almost every card, unless it's, of course, a rare, like 101 out of 5, maybe like a new product that hasn't even sold yet. But if there's a sale, you should be able to find it on Card Lather. It's super useful for buying and selling and evaluating your cards. Make sure to go get it down below in the description and use my code Jyles, Jyles, and use it for a small discount off your first month. It's nothing crazy. I think it's a few bucks. However, a few bucks adds up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you want more long form. I didn't really do too many like tips or tricks within here. However, the pop thing's really cool, especially if you're looking up raw to grade. If you do buy, sell, trade sports cards or TCG pretty often, this is an essential app for you. You won't miss sales. You'll be able to evaluate your cards. You'll make smarter buying decisions, and overall, it will pay for itself, which is awesome. Once again, go get it down below in the description, and thank you for watching. More videos like this to come in the future.